Good news, everyone! It's MOTHERFUCKERAMA! I mean, you have to literally just, like, drain your throat.
Well, you hit that crusty.
It kind of is.
KKK! That ain't good.
Stick around, kids. We got some great toy commercials coming up.
And by that, of course, we mean it is Thursday, July 3rd, the day before our independence. And hopefully, by tomorrow, I will be celebrating independence from this life. This is After Dark on the Podzilla 1985 network. My name is Shannon Young. I'm going to be your host tonight. Patriotic Young, as they call me around the office. And I got a whole bunch of bald eagles here with me tonight to lay some American eggs. Let me first introduce, of course, rated by Bird Aficionado magazine, the #1 bearded eagle is Jesse Kimball.
A bearded eagle?
You ever seen a bearded eagle? Patriotic as shit.
I have not. I've not seen a bearded eagle. It sounds patriotic, though. But I'm not feeling particularly patriotic today, Shannon.
Uh-oh. Well, we'll talk about that, baby. Don't worry about it. Much like the bird that regurgitates its food into the mouths of its waiting children, we'll feed you. Also with us tonight, Lindsay Wolfgong.
I already texted him today, but I'm going to add a happy birthday to my little brother, Wes.
Oh, boy, I hope he doesn't listen to this show. He's going to find out some things about us. Also with us tonight, Ed, welcome back. She wasn't here last week, and we missed her dearly. Shelby Chan.
Oh, that's me.
I don't even remember what last week's topic was, if it makes you feel better. I genuinely don't.
It was actors that disappointed us in stuff.
Yeah, it was actors that nearly ruined the movie.
They're characters or actors.
Characters.
Yeah, we phased. I think I wrote it as top 5 worst characters in your favorite movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah. I tried to add TV shows at the last second to get Shelby on board, but it was no dice, unfortunately.
Well, we did end up doing TV shows, to be fair, so I should have changed that, because a bunch of these are TV shows.
Yes, and that is
by that point,
media.
Shelby had already gotten comfortable in her moon chair with a couple of cats in her Switch. There's no pulling around.
Is there a more Shelby statement than she got comfortable in her moon chair with her cats?
With a couple of cats.
Yeah.
Yeah, but basically that's what happened. I went out there and was like, hey, TV shows have been added. And she stares up at me from her Switch with her cats. I'm like,
she gave you the Frenchman's wave, yeah. And hey, it's Double H.
Yeah, last minute impressions. I wish it was somebody I did better. I think the only thing I could do for him is the good news, and that's it.
My best impression, I've been working on it lately. I actually do a really good Shelby. Listen to this.
Oh?
Yeah, here we go.
Why would you do this?
Uncanny.
I knew it was coming.
Uncanny.
I assumed it was the other one. I figured we were going to get the
my favorite part about this is that, like, everybody will, I mean, if they didn't already get the bit, will immediately know the difference because of how Discord gets translated through OBS in these shows.
That's true. Yeah.
Because it sounds like we're making a phone call in 1985 for some fucking reason, despite all of us having pretty nice microphones.
If we were making a phone call in 1985 on this particular day, it would probably be asking each other if we wanted to go see Back to the Future.
Yes!
Because it premiered 40 years ago tonight. That's what we call a segue, kids.
Let's get the fun thing out of the way real quick before we get to all the things we don't like. Because on Motherfuckerama Volume 2, we don't have any topics. We're just going to complain about some things and some people. And then we're going to get to our top 5. Now, the top 5 will be a lot of fun. But Shelby and Lindsay and potentially Jesse and Hunter will check out for the next 40 minutes. Because I will be a ranting and a raving.
I won't check out. I'll chime in occasionally.
Her moon chair.
Get her moon chair and her cats, and she's good to go.
She's thought about trying to get her moon chair in here.
I absolutely have.
It's just not convenient.
40 years ago, the only good time travel movie ever made was made, and it was Back to the Future.
That Terminator's a time travel movie.
Touche. I've instantly been proven wrong.
Kind of. I mean, it's hard to categorize anything past what the first one is, because really, okay, ostensibly it is a time travel movie
because it has time travel.
But it's not. I guess because Back to the Future is so inherently about time travel.
It's centered entirely.
It feels different.
Yeah.
The whole point is the traveling.
I genuinely get what you're saying here, because normally I would argue the point, but no, I get it completely, because it's like it's like talking about Tom Cruise in an Interview with the Vampire. Is it a Tom Cruise film? Sure, he's in it, but is it a Tom Cruise film? No, because he's not the main attraction. Brad Pitt is, and Kirsten Dunst.
I said as much when we reviewed Back to the Future, which I think was last November. I think it was Nostalgic November, maybe.
I think so.
This is legitimately, I think, not only one of the best movies ever made, it's the best all-around movie. This is what a movie should be. The original Back to the Future. It is everything that I want in a movie.
Yeah.
It ends on an upbeat note, on a fun note.
While
the
keeping
characters
you
are all
invested in part
incredibly,
2, because you want to see what happens
right.
next.
Even though there wasn't even supposed to be a part 2. It just happened to go well enough that they, that was just kind of a joke ending, but they went, no, now we have to know. It's perfectly cast. It's perfectly paced. It's a super interesting, at the time, completely original story. Nobody was doing stuff like that, really, at that point. Back to the Future is legitimately one of my all-time favorite movies, and a lot of times it feels weird that it doesn't top that list, and it's just personal preference. How much I like Ghostbusters.
Hunter, I would like to interject here real quick to agree with you.
Yes.
Well, okay.
Back to the Future is one of my all-time favorite movies as well. I fucking love Back to the Future.
I guess I'll have to be this dissenting voice here and say that I also agree with you. Mostly because
I also agree.
Back to the Future doesn't even hit my top 5 movies of all time, but at the same time, I would I kind of understand and agree with the argument that it is the perfect movie. It is the movie when you think of movies. Yeah. There's not a bad part about it. It's just it doesn't hit any of the subjects that I particularly love to keep it in my top 5. But man, I think we said this during the review. Hard to find a flaw with that movie. It's great on pretty much every level. That's really
true. And it's one of those because I will say I do forget about it when I'm thinking of a top 5. When I'm thinking of my top 5 movies of all time, it's occasionally Back to the Future. I just forget about that one, because I think that's happened on the show before when we've been talking about top 5 movies. And I've forgotten about Back to the Future, and then Hunter will inevitably say it. I'm like, oh, god damn it. Yeah, that is a phenomenal movie. So,
I keep a handy visual reference nearby at all times of what mine are. I can just look over and go, oh yeah, it's Ghostbusters, Star Wars, Back to the Future, Raiders of the Lost Ark, and Jurassic Park. I'm good. it's done. That's the 5. But yeah, Back to the Future.
Even Jurassic
I think it's all the...
You could argue isn't. I have a few issues with Jurassic Park.
Jurassic Park has this problem. It's not perfect.
Mostly it's with the visuals. As good as they are, you can definitely, now more than ever, it's so easy to tell the difference when they're using animatronics versus CG. But Back to the Future, I don't really have that problem. The flying car and all that stuff, I don't know. It never bothered me. clearly it's not really there, but it works.
The worst visual is Doc standing in the fire. Before they go to the actual street lit on fire, it kind of going through him. It looks kind of weird. But you could say the same thing about Ghostbusters and the claymation versions of the pterodons
effects and stuff like that from those movies in that era.
And yet, I would take that 1,000,000 times over everything being CG. Give me old school effects, even if they're special effects.
I want people in the room with what's happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want them there when it's happening. I was going to say earlier, it's impressive enough that it has all these great things going forward, a great cast and a great story and everything. But when you think about when you break down some of these movies, Paranormal Exterminator is a great concept. That's great from the get-go. Yeah. You want to know what's going to happen there. It's more impressive that the concept for Back to the Future is, what if you went back in time and your mom wanted to have sex with you?
And you're a slacker.
And it's a good movie regardless.
Yes.
It's still a great film. Not a great pitch, right? Not a great log line.
Let's give it up
it still comes out really good.
Let's give it up for Leah Thompson, who in this film was positioned to have sex with her son. And in Howard the Duck was positioned to have sex with a duck. I don't know what their obsession was with her having sex with weird things. Prime Goonin age, I guess.
I mean, she didn't know it was her son.
Please.
In fairness,
It's true. That's true.
but also, I thought you were going
What's,
to talk about like how she is aged so much better than Back to the Future 2 would have led you to believe.
Yes.
That's also very true. I was about to say, wasn't she also set up to date Thor? But that was Elizabeth Shue. That was Adventures in Babysitting. For a split second, I thought that was her. And it wasn't.
I always love Leah Thompson. Genuinely love Leah Thompson. I think she's great in everything she's in. Yeah, Back to the Future, 40 years. And, hopefully we'll get part 4 sometime soon.
No, never, ever. Not only is that's not even just a bit of like, no, I don't want one. The creators have specifically said we're never. Well, one of them since passed, and the other is like, no, we're sitting on those rights, and as long as because they hold 100% of their rights to that, the studios don't. So until Bob Gale says, yeah, you can make another one, they can't do it, and he's made it very clear, I'm not going to do that. Nope, it reverts to his estate, and his estate is like his family. They are very much on the understanding of, no, we don't want any more of these.
You think you might have a broccoli type situation?
A broccoli situation? Oh, the
Bond?
Yeah, no, I don't think so. Nope, no, his family is, he has said in numerous interviews, like, my family knows what I want, they're all on the same page, this is not it's simply not happening without our approval, and they're not going to get our approval. He tried to placate them with the musical, because he wrote the book from the musical and everything, and it's good. It's not great. Like I said, I told you guys when we went and saw it, I didn't love it. I didn't hate it either. I don't think it's a movie that needed to be made into a musical, but I also don't think it harmed it. There were just definitely some things where I went, most of the music is kind of unnecessary here. If it's not Huey Lewis in the News, I don't really need it. I just enjoy watching people act out this film again. So
At least we got Video Kid. Yeah.
Well, thanks, Video Kid.
Thanks, Video Kid. The real shocking part is they only ever made, as far as I know, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, there was only, 4 Back to the Future games? Am I wrong about that? At least in America?
There's an NES game. There's the Telltale games.
And then there was NES version of 2 and 3. It was either NES or it was Genesis. One of them had, because Genesis also had one. But there were 2 on Nintendo, 1 on Genesis, the Telltale game, and then apparently there was a really good one in Japan that never came to America. Just seems like a series that would be good for, video games.
Oh, well, it depends on how far out you want to take it. There's a list of them on Wikipedia, and there's a lot more than that. Yeah, but I wonder how many of them are. Well, there's a Flash game that was on Facebook.
Oh,
so I don't know if that counts.
There's also a Tiger Electronics handheld game.
Oh, baby.
Which is that hardly counts too.
Yeah.
And I see what you're talking about. It was called Super Back to the Future 2, and it was Super Famicom only.
It's supposed to be. I've seen video of it. I think Angry Video Game Nerd did a big episode on Back to the Future specifically, and he showed it, and it was really good looking. It looked a lot like. There's a game I love on Super Nintendo called Buster Bust Loose. It's a Tiny Toon Adventures game. It very much looked like that.
Very good game.
Yeah, great game.
I like that game a lot. But yeah, because there is, they did a Back to the Future game. I assume it's the same game, and they ported it a few times from Amstrad CPC, Commodore 64, and the ZX Spectrum. And then it got ported to the MSX, and the MSX2, then the NES.
Jesse, the ZX. You said ZX.
Oh.
The ZX. Sorry.
Canadian
ZX.
console.
I don't care for that.
That's what it's called.
This is kind of weird. So that Super Back to the Future 2 apparently started. It's mostly, like you said, it's a side-scrolling Marty's on the hoverboard kind of thing. Mm-hmm. But it started life as a Legend of Zelda type role-playing game.
That's interesting.
And then at some point in time, they shifted it to a platformer. I would be very curious to see what the RPG would have looked like.
I would too. I do like role-playing games. I just bought Final Fantasy X and X-2 on Switch today on sale for $20. So I told Dalton I'm finally going to play 10 and give him his flowers because he's playing 6. So we're trading. We're trading childhoods.
Yeah, that's fair.
I've got some depressing news real quick before we get into it, and that is Michael Madsen died today. I know this isn't E&E, but
yes.
I'm a big Michael Madsen fan. Bob and I both are. That's why I specifically addressed him in that post. Michael Madsen is great in Kill Bill. He was Reservoir Dogs, obviously, I think is what most people remember him from. Just a great actor. And it's just sad that he died. I don't have anything to say about it. I really like Michael Madsen. I just wanted to mention it.
I think he's one of those guys who's in a lot of movies that people don't remember he's in. Because I started looking at his filmography, and I'm doing it again now. And like, you mentioned Reservoir Dogs, obviously, Kill Bill, obviously,
Blood Rain.
Maybe Donnie Brasco is something that people probably remember. But like, do you remember Michael Madsen was in Free Willy?
No, was he
that's
the
one of
whale?
the movies he's known for.
Yeah. Which blows my mind.
I don't remember.
I kind of forgot he was in War Games, which I haven't seen War Games in forever. He's in The Hateful Eight. He's in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, so a couple Tarantinos after Reservoir Dogs.
Oh, Kill Bill? I mean, he worked with Tarantino a lot.
That was in Kill Bill. Yeah, I've mentioned that one earlier. I forgot. Sin City, which I remembered he was in Sin City, but it's just been so long since I've seen that.
Well, because he really chameleons himself into these roles. He was so good at it. He was so good at it.
Yeah, for a guy who, when you look at him, you know exactly who he is. He does also do a good job. He was in the first Chronicles of Narnia movie.
Well, I don't remember that, but I really don't remember anything about that series at all. Also, the brother to Virginia Madsen, who's a great actress. She was in Candyman.
Yeah.
This dude's just been
prolific. Yeah.
Basically like an extra or supporting role in a whole bunch of stuff.
In supporting news, in positive news, real quick, before we get to all the angry stuff, we're not going to be too angry, probably. Don't worry about it. But a little happiness to counterbalance the sad. I sent this to the chat today too. Keith David was surprised to find out that he was getting a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Like, he was watching this video and they announced his name, and he just his reaction is he freaks out. He kind of looks, and they come and hug him. It was super sweet. And who fucking deserves it more than Keith David, man? Oh God, what a great actor.
Yeah, that was.
Keith
we saw
David
that video
treasure.
earlier, and
yes,
that was a lot of fun. It's just he just has literally these draw drops. Like he just
I had seen the announcement earlier today, and then when you shared his reaction, that just made it even better.
Oh, I loved it. Yeah. What a fantastic actor and voice actor right there. And that guy hits every genre, and I think he hits at least one thing all of us love, he's probably been in. Obviously, The Thing for me, Mass Effect for Jesse and Hunter, Shelby and Lindsay are on their own. Gargoyles for Lindsay.
Gargoyles.
Yeah, Shelby.
Gargoyles and Princess and the Frog.
Oh, he was Dr. Facilier. Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, got chills there.
He's in so many like he's another one. You hit up his IMDb page and he'll be scrolling for 10 minutes.
It's like a damn porn star.
Stuff.
It's like looking up Lessons in Steel. He was in so many films.
Future Man is a very underrated show. At least the first few seasons are excellent.
What about Particle
he's great
Man?
in that show as well.
Particle Man. He's got a particle plan.
All right, we've stalled long enough. Let's.
Who's stalling? You always say stalling. Who's stalling?
I'm stalling because I don't want to talk about these things, but I want to talk about these things at the same time.
Yeah, it must be done.
I was going to say no one's making you talk about them, but I know you want to get it out there.
This is my therapy. Like, I sometimes wonder, like, why do I keep doing this show? And obviously we have fun doing the show, but sometimes it really does also feel like therapy because I can get these things out that I want to get out, and you guys are kind enough to chip in and listen and add to the context to it and discuss it with me and make it even better. So
sure.
But I need Jesse to get back on camera. Because I can see him in Shelby's camera, so I know he's still there.
Well, no.
And now he's leaving.
He's going to say he'll be back.
Okay. While he's coming back.
He's going to be back.
Yeah. Let's start by... originally, here's the original Motherfucker of the Week. Here's the guy that I was going to say was Motherfucker of the Week. That's Tom Tillis. Now, of course, we're all familiar with Tom Tillis, but for those who aren't familiar with him, he's a U.S. Senator from North Carolina. He is a Republican. When the big, beautiful bill, before it got passed, when they were still discussing it, and there were a handful of Republicans who were against it, Tom Tillis was one that raised questions about it, specifically how many people were going to lose their health insurance through Medicaid, Medicare, because of the cuts that are coming as a part of this big, beautiful bill, which, by the way, prioritizes the rich and really hurts the poor and the people that need it most, the most vulnerable. We'll come back to that in a second. Tom Tillis, for speaking out against this, was then berated, as he would be, on Truth Social, the greatest social network of all time, by Donald Trump, who basically threatened him and said that he would support people who would run in primaries against him. Well, Tom Tillis then announced that he was leaving, that he's not going to seek re-election, and said now he's untethered and his rage has, no bounds. He put out that is a direct quote from him, actually. Let me find the other direct quote, because if I can find the direct quote, I think you'll kind of understand why I'm a little angry about it. Because I can paraphrase. I guess I'll have to paraphrase, because I'm not going to look for this quote. Basically, he said that he's tired of fighting the politics game. He's tired of, doing this partisan stuff, and he wants to spend the rest of his years with his family. And he talks about how there aren't enough people in Washington that will stand up for country over party, and that will fight for the things that need to be fought for. He basically expressed his frustration about the game that they all play, and how no one's brave enough to stand up to people like Donald Trump. And everyone applauded him, and everyone's, giving him the old reach around, and good for him. And he delivered this viral speech the next day on the floor talking about how terrible the bill was, which it is. But my problem with it, and the reason he's a motherfucker is, and I posted this on my Facebook, have you ever noticed that anytime any of these Republicans get their balls up and finally decide to go against Daddy, they immediately quit? Paul Ryan did it. Mitt Romney did it. Mitch McConnell's about to do it. And now Tom Tillis is doing it. You complain about how there's no one willing to fight, and yet you yourself are giving up the fight and leaving. And to me, that is such a coward thing to do. He said now he can speak out. He can speak his mind, and he's going to be, he's not going to be beholden to anybody for the rest of his term. He is going to basically tell it like it is. Weren't you supposed to be doing that from the beginning? Isn't that the reason that we elect you? Been. Right.
Exactly.
So I'm not
from
gonna,
the get-go.
I'm not going to give him credit for all of a sudden going against Trump when he's also leaving. It's easy to stand up for yourself when you're, quitting the game in a couple of months. You're not coming back. Right.
Yeah, exactly.
And they all do
if you're
this.
not going to be there, what difference does it make?
Yeah, everybody. And I mean that. Mitt Romney, Paul Ryan, look them up. All of these Republicans that have done this. And yet they stand by and they watch this shit happen for so many years and say nothing until they're leaving. And he'll probably write a book, and he'll probably go on all the talk shows, and they'll talk about what a hero he is, like John Bolton, what was the... God, I'm not going. William Barr, and they'll treat them like heroes for speaking out, but they only do it when they leave and when they can cash in on it. And what a shitty thing to do, man!
Yes,
it's infuriating.
Well, they'll tell you that they don't get paid enough to do what they do, so they got to get it somewhere. And it's like you chose this, man. You made a choice here.
Meanwhile,
you knew what you were getting into.
You got Marjorie Taylor Greene complaining about the big beautiful bill that she voted yes on because she didn't actually read it, and now she's upset because of the things that are in it. You've got Fetterman complaining about how, listen to this shit, Democrat John Fetterman. You guys always say, Shannon, all you do is talk about, this show, by the way, all you do is talk about Republicans. Fetterman gave an interview when they were still debating this bill, and he was complaining that he missed his beach trip with his family. They're going to be back by the time he's done, and he just wants to go home. He's tired. No, this is your job as an elected official. Don't complain about it. You are literally what's standing between us, civilian voters, and all these terrible things. You're the vanguard. You can't bitch about it and complain. That's not how this works.
Yeah, and you put yourself up for it, and you were chosen for it. This isn't just a...
You're an elected official.
Right, you didn't just apply for a job and you got it, and this is the day-to-day. Like, it's a little more serious than that for you, than it is for other people, and there's a standard to which you have to uphold.
Yeah, you're not...
Or there should be.
Shannon, he can't make decisions on his own. He's only an elected official.
And you know what, Lindsay? They said that Fetterman was the next big star of the Democratic Party. That it was going to be him, people like him, people like AOC. And now, no. The dude goes to work in a hoodie and shorts, and he doesn't want to be there. Clearly, he has no real interest in serving. And then you have to look to people like AOC and Jasmine Crockett and people like that as the potential next leaders of the Democratic Party. It's not Bernie Sanders, for fuck's sake.
No.
The problem with
we need some younger people that actually give a shit about this country and the people that are in it, as opposed to how do I get a payday.
But the problem with Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, the problem with the Jasmine Crockett, is that they're both women, and they're minority women at that. And I'm not saying that as like, this isn't a joke by me.
No.
The fact that
all
they
the stuck-up white men aren't going to vote for them.
Well, not just white men. We just saw in the last election with Kamala Harris, it's also the Latino community. It's the black community. There are so many, probably the gay community, Hunter.
AJ Styles will have questions about that.
America sent a loud message with the last election that they don't care. They just wanted Daddy to come home, and Daddy's back, and look what he's done. Before I continue on with the ranting, did anybody else have a motherfucker they want to throw in here? Because I'm going to keep celebrating, because it's the 4th of July, and we're firing off crackers tonight, if you know what I mean.
Not enough of them. Off the top of my head, I cannot think of anything specific. I feel like this is going to be one of those shows where, as you name people, I go, "Oh yeah. It's the,
oh yeah,
yeah." I didn't.
I mean, I could be a smartass with one that's not actually one.
What is it?
Mimi is the motherfucker of the week for not telling me I was going to cry through K-pop Demon Hunters.
You know what? This is a good opportunity really quick, because I did put your Demon Hunter show on the picture for it, because I figured after everything you told me that whoever created that show and started it are some motherfuckers. And I agreed to give you the floor to talk about it. So we're going to put 30 seconds on the clock, and you can go now.
It's just really, really good. I was expecting it to just be like this silly animation about pop stars that fight demons. And instead, it's actually this really emotional story of being true to yourself and not hiding your own colors. And it's really good. It was a passion project of the director of it. They took 4 years to make it. And oh, hey, Hollywood, we like new stories. We don't need like the 5th sequel of the same goddamn series that you've been putting out because it makes you money off toys.
All right, time's up. No, I'm kidding. Obviously. It seems like Lindsay really enjoyed this show.
It's got a good soundtrack. There's not a single character in this that I hate. Like, even the villains are really good.
Now, what Lindsay did is she was so tired from watching the show that when I asked her to help me dye my hair, she literally balled up the instructions and threw them away and said, "I know what I'm doing. I'm tired and I just want to go to bed, so let's get this over with." She then proceeded to just dump dye on my head for 5 to 10 minutes straight. And now I have what I like to refer to as chocobo hair, because it's blonde in some places, it's darker brown in other places, but it doesn't look bad. It looks good. So much like my original birth, it was a happy accident.
Your original birth.
Yeah, well, not my rebirth. We're hoping to happen sometime in the next year, where I come out a better
His origin.
Man. Yeah. We lost Hunter too, so Hunter and Jesse are both gone, so it's just us now. So Lindsay,
it's a conspiracy. They went to go play Final Fantasy.
Shelby, what about you? Any motherfuckers you're feeling?
None that I can really say openly.
That's fair. I will continue to rant then, unless Lindsay has more to talk about with Demon Hunters.
No, I'll forgive you and not go further.
Oh, if you have anything else you want to say, I'm interested in hearing it.
No,
you said it made you
the
cry.
Basics. Yes, I was tearing up 30 minutes in. I had a little break in the middle, and by the end of the film, I was just flat out sobbing as I was watching it.
It's a movie?
I keep meaning to watch
Yes,
that.
it's a movie. It was originally supposed to be a TV series, but they ended up shifting it to a movie.
Oh, yeah, I thought it was a series. I thought you just watched the entire series in one day. Okay.
Nope, it's just a movie. It was really, really good, though. I highly recommend it.
If this were extra at epilogues, would you? It's one extra.
2 thumbs up, easy, 2 thumbs up.
Okay, well, I don't know. Let's go to your review.
Is it anime?
Yeah.
No.
All right.
It's Sony Animation.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, it's like Into the Anime verse.
Well, by that description, I don't have enough thumbs to give it 3 down, so I'll have to try again.
Wish I had
You
four
just
hands.
made Mira sad.
I've heard enough K-pop that I like a little K-pop from time to time. The show does not look interesting to me at all.
Look, I got a BTS song on there called Butter. It's on my playlist. I've got Mamamoo. All right, I know my K-pop.
Yeah, I don't see myself watching it anytime soon. But I'm glad.
Such an adorable tiger and a magpie with a little hat.
Speaking
I'm glad that people like it, and I'm happy for you, or sorry that happened, whichever is.
Speaking of tigers are an animal you might find in Florida in the Everglades. Which brings me to my next topic.
No.
That's what you call a
They're not.
segue, kids.
Oh no!
Not.
What is this related
There won't
to?
be
A
any
king?
tigers there.
No, Tiger King. No, this is related to a bitch. A bitch named Laura Loomer, who is a Trump. This is just another one of the things. I'm going to rapid fire some of these off because we got to get to the fun things again. Laura Loomer is a Trump adjacent nut job. She was the woman that Bill Maher basically insinuated that her and Trump were having an affair, and she threatened to sue him over it. She's a fucking idiot. She's insane. Well, she said in a tweet, I think it was yesterday, a certain someone sent it to me. I can't say who it was because they have a genuine fear that where they work could retaliate if they knew that he had these feelings. So I will not say who it was, but I looked into it more. And Laura Loomer, in talking, you heard about Alligator Auschwitz, right?
Yeah. Yep. Unfortunately.
I'm sorry, they're calling it Alligator. Alligator
That wasn't
Alcatraz
just a drunken rant that you did the other day?
No, this is a real thing. This is a place in Florida that they're building, which is a migrant detention center. Yep. And
God.
Laura Loomer said in a tweet, she said that all alligator lives matter.
All guys.
And that, and I'm paraphrasing because this article doesn't have the full thing on it, but basically that if we act now, the alligators are guaranteed at least 65 million meals. 65 million also being the Hispanic population in the United States. So,
fuck her.
What she's less than subtly insinuating is that basically Hispanic people are only good for alligator chow. And again, the Hispanic community was big in re-electing Trump in a lot of places. So... Yes. Like
very much so.
You see how they treat you, right? If we have any Hispanic listeners, and I know we do, but I know all the Hispanic listeners we have aren't Trump fans.
No, they're not.
So yeah, she has no real place in the news. The fact that we're talking about it is ridiculous, but what a horrible thing to say. And then there's also the Candace Owens thing. I don't want to get into that, but basically Candace Owens, who one of my old high school friends, who he posted some very choice words when I was talking about it that I don't agree with, but I didn't want to get into an argument on my Facebook about it. I will let other people get into an argument with him on Facebook. That seems to be my MMO. I set it up. My MO. I set it up.
Your MMO.
And then they knock it out of the park. But she basically said that Donald Trump personally contacted her to get her to stop talking about the French president Macron's wife, who she has literally put out documentary episodes about because she's trying to prove that she's trans. And yeah, I'm not making this up. So Donald Trump contacted Owens at the request of Macron to stop talking about his wife, and the reason Trump wanted to do it is because Macron was holding up the peace negotiations between Ukraine and Russia. So you have a French president holding up peace negotiations between Russia and Ukraine because Candace Owens is trying to prove that his wife is actually a trans woman. I get...
Whether she is or isn't, it's none of her fucking business.
I get a lot of Americans have an issue with trans issues right now, and a lot of them are holding up the torch of trying to protect women in women's sports and et cetera, et cetera. Even if you're one of those people, even if you're one of those MAGA fucks that thinks trans people don't belong anywhere other than probably Alligator Alcatraz, why does it matter whether or not the French president's wife is trans? What does that matter at all, other than showing what a fucking transphobic piece of shit you are.
Shannon,
It's because trans people are abominations, and they have to call it out.
Cruelty is the point.
That's really true.
That's the thing. The cruelty is the point.
And these people, I'm not going to say names. I'm being polite, but a lot of these people lap it up too, and it's so funny to them. It's so funny the way that the right acts like fucking children, and it's sickening.
Whenever I was at a gathering recently, and someone at that gathering couldn't help but talk about do what?
Of juggalos, I know.
No, juggalos are chill. It's kind of surprising. But, at this gathering, someone was talking about a Charlie Kirk video they were watching that happened to have Candace Owens in it. And while explaining the contents of the video, they kept saying a biological male was talking to Charlie Kirk about blah, 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 blah. And they just kept using the words like biological male and biological female. It's like, why? Like, is that really that important to you?
Yeah.
Just,
unless
like, even if you're gonna,
the point of the story is to say that, then yeah, I don't.
No.
Yeah, just say a trans woman. It's trans woman and a trans man. Like, that's easier to say. Like, it's not you necessarily condoning it. Like, just what the fuck is wrong with you? You're putting more effort into this just to be shitty.
People are getting weird. Oh god, I gotta move this along. I realized there was so much I wanted to talk about. Puff Daddy, obviously, we talked about it at length actually last night on the live stream over at facebook.com/Podzilla1985.
Nope, not last night.
Was it not last night?
Was it last night?
Yeah, it was last night.
No, you were talking about last night. Yeah, while we were streaming.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
That's right. I
yeah.
about that.
God damn, you made me confused for a second. It's not good right now. It's never a good time. Yeah, we talked about it, so go check out that if you want to get in depth about it. But basically, Puff Daddy, P. Diddy, Sean Combs, whatever you call him, rapist.
Captain Asshat.
He was found guilty of 2 of 5 counts, the 2 lesser charges, which is transportation for the purpose of prostitution or something like that. And Jesse and I and Bryant and Hunter towards the end, we discuss it at length. So go check that out. You have 30 days to check it out. If you are listening to this episode 2 months from now, you've missed out. That time's over. You gotta
1 month from now. You said 30 days.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If you're listening to this 2 months from now, you've missed it because a month ago it went off.
Yeah, that's true.
Or if you listen to it 7 years from now, why would you be? Why would you be listening to it now? Honestly,
yeah. What about 8 years?
Gotta be better things for you to do with your time.
What if it was like 9 years from now?
If it's 10 years from now, I've already quit the show.
No, you haven't.
The show's over.
Because you said that 10 years ago, and you still haven't done it.
What a ride! We'll skip P. Diddy and let's get to the really the final thing, and this is the big one, the big beautiful bill. That's the reaction I get when I talk about these things normally. And I feel it. I understand. The big beautiful bill passed. Barely. 2 Republicans voted no. 1 Republican didn't vote at all, and all the Democrats voted. Voted yes. All the Democrats voted no. Well, it's official.
Yeah.
This is how liberty dies. Thunderous applause.
I mean, it's not necessarily the death of liberty so much as it is the death of millions of people that no longer have access to, or will no longer have access to healthcare. Of course, all of that going through when Democrats inevitably win control after the midterms, assuming we have another election anyway.
Yes, when Democrats win and then don't do a goddamn thing because they're ineffectual.
They never fucking do.
Oh my god.
Okay, because they're going to be filibustered. They're going to be trying to undo stuff. Like, they're not going to have the majority they need to actually get anything done, and that's really annoying. And how the fuck that this big beautiful bill got put through as a budget proposal, which is how they skirted the filibuster, blows my fucking mind.
Yeah. I'd like to think they're going to dismantle it when they get back in there. And every American, when they see what this does, every American who isn't in the top 1% should be actively rebelling against this administration. And I don't mean that.
You can tell you're getting upset because you went Kermit there for a while.
Oh, let me tell you.
Every American.
There are a lot of MAGA people. there are a lot of MAGA people that are already pretty upset about this, which is great.
Yes.
Except like they're in like probably the worst part of the find out phase, because there are already like hospitals closing since this passed, because they know like they can easily see the numbers, like they know how many people on like they need, like how many people that are on Medicare that they need to stay open and stay operational. And if those people aren't getting the funding, they aren't getting the money, then the hospital can't function. So there have already been a few dozen in like rural communities that have closed down, and they've said specifically, because of these cuts to Medicaid, we are done.
And they're mad.
We have to close.
And those MAGA voters are mad. You know who else is mad about this, Jesse Kimball? You know who's pissed off about it? Josh Hawley's pissed off about this, okay? Lisa Murkowski
he was so mad
is
hitting
pissed
that
off
yes
about
vote.
this. They're so mad, and they said they will do everything in their power to amend the things out of this that they don't like, because they are fully aware how many people are about to suffer because of it, and they're trying to save the rest. They're going to do everything they can to prevent it now that they voted for it. Now that they voted yes for it, now we'll try to stop it. Are you fucking kidding me? And if you're a voter and you're a Republican voter, you hear this, is any of this convincing? And yet, despite that fact, you are still going to vote Republican at the polls, no matter who is up, because you can't vote for a Democrat. Are you kidding me? Like, you get this is insane, right?
So they had to get this passed. They had to get a version of this passed
by July 4th, because that's what Daddy wanted.
That is what Daddy wanted, but the reason Daddy wanted it that way...
Please stop saying Daddy.
Can't do it.
It's really making me want to vomit.
Yes, that's the point.
Can't do it. They're
Papa Donnie.
That's their word. Papa Donnie. I like his pizza.
So the reason they needed to get this done now is because the tax breaks that Trump put into, during his 2016 term, were set to expire. They originally, whenever they did these big tax breaks that were supposed to, basically it looks like a whole lot more money going into the pockets of the middle class, all of those were set to expire during this term. And at that point, the Republicans would blame the Democrats, because ideally, Trump would have won in 2020, and then the Democrats would have won 2024. Suddenly everything is way more expensive, and you could blame the Democrats. Well, because of the way it played out, now everybody's going to have to pay a whole lot more in taxes during Trump's term. So they needed to get this passed to continue those tax breaks that Trump put in 2016. Otherwise, something they did would finally look bad on them, because they have been doing this for years, where they keep pushing shit through that doesn't go through until Democrats would be in power. Which is exactly what the Medicaid stuff isn't supposed to hit until 2028.
And the basics of it, aside from the Medicare and the Medicaid and the health insurance stuff, by the way, is that I think it was the poorest people in America are actually, it's going to cost them about $1,600 more per year than normal, and the richest people in America are getting a bonus of like $10,000 to $15,000. That's what you voted for. That's what they did to you. If you're listening to the show and you're rich, congratulations. If you're everyone else that actually listens to the show, sorry about your damn luck.
Yeah, no, this is bad for basically everybody except for the obscenely wealthy, and really bad for the really poor.
And they're adding over $3 trillion to the deficit, which is already out of control. This is from Republicans.
Which they ran on cutting the deficit.
Right. That's the party of small government and cost-saving measures. And now they're adding...
They raised the debt ceiling by $5 trillion.
They
so
did.
He can borrow $5 trillion more dollars.
So he can be in the pockets of more countries.
Yeah, also, and ICE is now the most well-funded law enforcement agency on the planet.
Yeah, it went up to 30 billion, I think, a year. Meanwhile, at the exact same time, I think it was $6 billion that was set aside for education. He has contacted every state's Department of Education to tell them, well, we'll see. We're going to hold off on that.
Because you got to make sure that you're going to play ball.
And you got to keep the kids dumb so that when they become of age, they'll just listen to whatever shit you tell them.
That was $6 billion nationwide. Not every state, obviously. Yeah. Nationwide.
1/5 of ICE's budget for ICE. Oh my god.
On top of the $40 billion that's going to construction for the wall. So not only is more going to that, but then ICE is getting separately funded. That's $70 billion.
Yeah,
just to keep people out of this country.
Yeah, and potentially,
to
by the way,
problem that doesn't exist,
and to potentially deport people who are from this country, because after the big beautiful bill got passed, or at least after it passed the Senate, Trump did his victory lap there and literally said that there are people who were born in this country that he will see about the next phase is getting them out of here, and he'll do it too. I think we know at this point he'll do it.
Because the courts have already ruled, if I'm not mistaken, the Supreme Court has already ruled that he can strip basically anybody like the birthright citizenship. Like if you were born in the U.S., and that makes you a U.S. citizen if you're born on U.S. soil. Yeah, the Supreme Court, from my understanding, has ruled that he can strip that citizenship.
Yeah.
This is from the group of people who would tell you that the Constitution was written the way it was intended. There's no interpreting it. Second Amendment is what it is. And then you point out the 14th Amendment, and they go, well, it's more of a guideline, really.
Well, that's why they put it in so late.
100.
14 and 2.
These are also the same motherfuckers that'll tell you that the Mexicans are taking all the jobs, and then in the same breath will tell you that nobody wants to work anymore.
Yeah, well, okay.
How do they?
They complained enough to Trump that Trump backed away from doing raids on, farms, et cetera, et cetera. But then I forget what happened. Someone basically made a comment about it and made fun of him, and he then doubled down and said, "Never mind, we're going to do it anyway." This man, this is a child who doesn't know what he's doing, and
people can't. He takes that Taco Trump stuff seriously.
We are small time. I know I brag about having global listeners, and we do have global listeners. However, we are small time, small meat and potatoes by all means. But if Donald Trump wanted to, for the things that we say, he could have us deported at some point. Donald Trump could literally have me sent away or put an alligator Alcatraz. And then all the stupid motherfuckers that are on my Facebook talking about the right way to come over here. Motherfucker, I was born here. And I got kicked out just for saying something negative against this guy, this wannabe dictator. And he will try to justify it. That is the route he wants
to take, for sure, yeah.
And he will try to justify it if he does.
Yeah.
Hey,
somehow we'll be labeled as terrorists, and yeah, then to alligator Alcatraz we go.
I've always wanted
alligator Auschwitz is probably the more accurate phrasing.
I've never wanted to see Florida. I still don't. One last thing.
That's not true. You want to go to Galaxy's Edge?
Sure, but I'm afraid they're going to take.
That's not Florida.
That's
also,
true.
you can go to California for that if you really want.
Yeah, they're going to take me to Edge. Throw me off where the alligators are. They'll take me to Alligator's Edge. It's right around.
I do want to go to Star Wars Disney park again, but yeah, I think California is calling my name instead of going all the way to Orlando this time.
One last thing, and then we'll get to the fun topic. There's one last guy I want to talk about, and that is, you guys know Derek Van Orden, right?
Nope, that sounds familiar.
It does not. He's a Republican representative, and where is he from? Let me see here. I don't know what state he's from. Not like it really matters, I guess. But when so many people have criticized Republicans for signing off on this bill, which they will tell you is the greatest legislation ever. Literally, Mike Johnson has talked about how this will make everything better. It's going to benefit every American. Mike Johnson, who his own party almost had him removed from the job, and the Democrats literally saved him. And you see how he just goes right back to licking the boot. Well, so many people have been critical of this bill that a lot of these Republicans have to defend themselves for even voting yes on it. Lisa Murkowski from Alaska, I mentioned her earlier. All reports, Hunter, for all intensive purposes, say that she basically sold out the rest of the country for Alaska. Alaska was given so many little agreements because she was one of those, maybe I'll say yes, maybe I'll say no. And they knew they needed more votes for yes. So they basically bribed her with Alaska will get all these things and will be protected from these things, that she said yes. The rest of the country don't get these things. And she was asked about it. And the way she looked at the reporter when he said, this is what one of your fellow representatives said about you, that you sold out the rest of the country for Alaska, she looked at him for about 10 seconds in silence, like a disappointed mother looking at their child. He finally had to go, I didn't say that, ma'am. Someone else said it. I just want your thoughts. And then she went into this huge rant that never answered anything other than she said, I'm looking out for my state. You could have voted no. and saved your state from all of it anyway. Anyway, that's not the point.
Reportedly, there were junior senators, by the way, who were bribed with pro shop merch that at Mar-a-Lago that he was like, hey, just go, get whatever you want from the pro shop, shirts and stuff, and it's his merchandise.
And there were others that were threatened, even though the White House said they were not threatened with primary opponents, even though Donald Trump absolutely said that. But now, Derek Van Orden is a Republican representative, and after he, it was either after or right before he voted yes on it, on the budget bill, by the way, that will leave at least 30,000 of his constituents without health care. He's going to cost 30,000 of his own people health care. He said, and I quote, "The President of the United States did not give us an assignment. We're not a bunch of little bitches around here, okay? I'm a member of Congress. I represent almost 800,000 Wisconsinites. 30,000 of those are going to lose their health insurance, by the way." He said, "We are not a bunch of little bitches."
Because you did a bad job.
You're absolutely little bitches. Oh my God. You are the bitchiest bitches I have ever seen in politics. It doesn't get bitchier than these guys. Like, what a little bitch, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
They're so afraid of losing their jobs.
They're so afraid of a tweet from Donald Trump.
Yeah, that they really need to, we need term limits on Congress.
Agreed.
I understand why that hasn't happened yet, because the people that would enact that would be the ones, being punished by it.
Yeah, they're not going to kick themselves out.
Yeah, they're not going to vote for something that prevents them from, that gets them off that gravy train. But we need term limits in Congress, because this shit is ridiculous. If nothing else, that would allow some shit to get done, because you have so many, especially a lot of these Republicans, they know that this is bad for their constituents. They know that it's bad for the country, but it's worse for if they actually vote against it, it's worse for them and their career.
Yeah,
their career is over if they go against Trump and MAGA.
Career over country is what it is.
100%. So they vote with party. They stay right along party lines. They say all the bullshit and dumb shit they need to say, and just so they can keep their jobs. If they had term limits, that wouldn't be as much a problem, because they could only run after they've already run 2 terms. On their second term, they're like, all right, cool. Now I can do shit for my people and not have to worry about not getting reelected.
Right. But
that's never going to happen.
If we ever have another election again. All right. That's enough of that. Although I'll throw one extra one in for Jesse and all of us, and Hunter and all of us gamers, but especially Jesse. Microsoft, for laying off 9,000 people, is much worse than the second one. That anytime people lose their jobs, that's terrible. And they canceled the new Perfect Dark game. Major bummer. Not as important as people losing their jobs, but sucks. And then, of course, EA. Because their sunsetting Anthem, the abandoned stepchild, the one that they never wanted to love, and I know Jesse just never forgave him for that.
No, and I never will. And it was one of those things a long time ago when EA bought BioWare. That was a dark day.
Yeah, because
I fucking love BioWare, and before EA purchased them, that was Jade Empire, Mass Effect, the Knights of the Old Republic games. Well, the first one. The second one was Obsidian, I think.
Obsidian, yeah.
Yeah. The first one was BioWare, though. But yeah, they had just banger after banger after banger. They get picked up by EA. They're already working on Dragon Age Origins and Mass Effect 2, and those are the last 2 games they had, before EA came along, and then EA just did what EA does.
EA is the Galactus.
Gobbles them up and throws them up.
Yeah, he's the Galactus of the video game creator world. EA, how many years in a row was it where it was voted worst in company, in the world?
It was 4 years in a row.
Over and over again.
Yeah, they kept getting worst company on the planet, and we're not talking about video game companies. They beat out tobacco companies and oil companies.
Yeah.
They were the worst company in America. It was just America.
America, okay.
Okay. And it was 2 years in a row, 2012 and 2013.
Wow, they should really be nominated again, I feel. But yeah,
Well, now
These
they're
were
not,
the specific ones.
they
But
also
now they're
I
not
think
really.
I think they're in the top 10 regularly. So this is from the Consumerist, is where it's coming from. Yeah, in 2012 they got the worst. They were the worst. They bought out or beat out such regulars as AT&T and Walmart. In the final round, they were against Bank of America, and this was Mass Effect 3 was what pushed that over. And then in 2013 they won again. Mass Effect 3 came up again, Dead Space 3's microtransactions, and then the SimCity reboot. That was the one that really brought them.
I was there for that.
Where you had to be
I was
online.
there for that one. Yeah.
Yeah, because Shannon, and Bob got really into that SimCity game.
Boy, that was rough. Except for when the game glitched and constantly awarded me hundreds of thousands of dollars. The true story.
The Consumerist summarized the results the second year by asking, quote, "When we live in an era marked by massive oil spills, faulty foreclosures by bad banks, and rampant consolidation in the airline and telecom industry, what does it say about EA's business practices that so many people have for 2 years in a row come out to hand it the title of worst company in America?" The thing I take away from that, unfortunately, is do you remember when the worst things we lived through were oil spills, foreclosures, and consolidation in the airline and telecom industry? Do you remember the halcyon days of 10 years ago?
Though now we're seeing like some of the real bad fallout of like the airline thing in particular when you talk about like what happened with Boeing. Like that.
Well, you shouldn't talk about it or you're going to get killed.
Well, kill yourself. Kill yourself, which is what happened.
Reportedly. Allegedly.
Yeah, all right. They're a motherfucker too. We got to move on, though. I officially saw we're at an hour, and we still have to get to the fun things.
Yes.
But I'll also mention that EA also did the same thing to Origin Systems, OSI, which was, Ultima Online's creator, and then they have butchered it ever since. So yeah, EA is just the absolute worst. They should have just made sports games. Okay, hey, fun topic, fun time. Right after Hunter reads off the names from the chat.
Shit, I forgot.
So many of them have changed.
This is also very fun. Shelby, I hope you brought your laugh pants.
Would you like to take another run at that?
Yeah, can I get another shot at that?
Yeah, we're still rolling. Take two.
Shelby, I hope you brought your chuckle bucket because you're about to vomit up some laughs.
We'll use take one. We'll stick with take one. We'll stick with the first one, and we'll start those names with shit tickets.
Dalton.
What?
Dalton.
Yeah, that's Dalton. Lindsay, that's toilet paper. Is what that is. They're called shit tickets. You just tear one off.
I don't like that.
I don't
and if
either.
you can just use one, what kind of super toilet paper are you using?
Hunter, he needed to use a bigger slice.
Oh, Lindsay, they might be using this new reusable toilet paper that I've seen.
Oh dear
Ew.
God!
Oh,
please.
Jesse, all toilet paper.
I saw it too, and it's so bad. Well, it is if you believe in yourself and try hard. Actually, don't try very hard if you're going to use it twice. Anyway, that was a lot of talk about one name. There's also Peter Link's Friend Slop.
That's, of course, Peter Link's Friend Slop, yes.
Sweat Without Birds. I like this one a lot. A Relevancy of Josh's. Sydney for Sale.
Sydney.
That one made me laugh because I remember what that was from. Dripping Witch Child.
I don't like that one. That comes from the Blair Witch Vision.
I equally don't like Blonde Society Mommy.
I didn't do that one. That one's not me.
You did. It was you. It was literally you. It was about Emma Frost in Rivals. Chud laid them out. That was you too.
Yeah, I remember that one. Yeah.
This is also you. Standard Unit Banga.
Banga?
That's an anima in Final Fantasy. Yeah. Maybe it'll make someone's list.
I'm a big fan of Muffler and Mustard, the Jones Crew. I don't like the Spanish Foot Inquisition. It feels like it should be like Footquisition or something. And then there's two of my favorites in a while. One of them is Nuts Up for the Moogle Band. That's also you. Big time. And then finally, and this feels like it's a story for Howl's Eve Tales that I don't want to narrate. It's the only vampire who can suck himself.
I forgot about that one.
Yeah.
Oh, that's painful.
Yeah.
To be fair, he's talking about his own blood. I
Was
think.
he? No.
I think.
Was he?
Oh, all right.
Nuts up for the Moogle band.
Well, that was painful. Okay, thank you. Let's get to the topic of tonight.
Especially when you found out how many of them were yours that you don't remember saying.
I'm glad Mom died giving birth to me. If she'd seen me, she'd have died of shame. Lindsay, what is that topic for tonight?
I don't know. You picked it.
Okay, we're talking about our top 5 favorite fantasy either creatures or characters. It really doesn't matter. Just have fun with it. This is in honor of Legend, which was bad.
Yes. So these can also be bad.
These can also be bad. I'm so confident no one's going to take anybody's answer except Hunter scares me. I'm going to start with Jesse this time.
Why?
I guess when it comes to fantasy creatures, like, is there anything that's better than a dragon? Because dragons
I think I actually wins. Yeah. Yeah, that's,
well,
that's
I
pretty much it.
assume fantasy was going to be about fake things.
Implying that dragons are real?
I saw that dragon in Kentucky. I saw that video.
I thought he was going to do the Charlie bit from when they were on Family Feud or whatever it's called, the show Family Fight.
It's, it's for I'm a peasant.
Dragon meets for kings.
Man, dragons are cool as shit, man. Like, they're always cool in every story.
Dragons
even
are,
when they're the bad guys, they're still cool as shit.
They are the coolest mythological creature. I agree with that. And there's so many variations. The Chinese dragons are different from the European dragons. I don't know if Americans have dragons, but if they did, they probably have fucking wicked strong arms, tattoos, and guns.
What was that old TV show? Jake Long?
Same thing. It's like Jake Long, American Dragon, or something.
Yeah, Jake
American
Long.
I do remember that.
I think that's different from the Shannon from the Wood Rocket one, which is Jake's Long American Dragon.
Well, he had a big
Then you got Strong Bad, the Burninator. Now,
no, you mean Trogdor? Trogdor, the
Trogdor. Strong Bad was
Bad created him.
Yeah. Yes.
What
he drew
the
him
fuck?
with one big beefy arm.
Did I miss some hours and we're doing a new episode? What happened?
You missed Homestar Runner from the early 2000s.
And we're going to interrupt with Girl Squad.
I heard God damn you, Hunter.
Jesse, Mountain Dew. Apply liberally.
All right,
Homestar Runner was good shit, man. Like, I'm surprised that you were unfamiliar, Shannon.
No.
Trogdor.
No?
The Burninator.
Burninating.
What are you knowing? You said no.
No, I thought you were gonna say something about what I had done.
What?
He
What has
chimed in
Shelby
after
done?
me and went, the ugly one!
What the
From Teen Girl
I don't know.
Squad. Cheerleader, so-and-so.
Oh.
The ugly one!
Shelby, you're up next.
Okay, I'm gonna get one of my big ones out of the way, and I'm just gonna take Cthulhu.
Oh, that's again, I thought we were doing fake things.
Shannon, please.
Yeah, Cthulhu's the best.
Yeah, who doesn't love a breezy, like, deep sea underwater fish god who sleeps beneath the sea?
And a pineapple.
Many cultists after.
I've yet to understand how they have never made a big, like, Hollywood version of Call of Cthulhu. Like, it's
There's no way to do it right because of how the visuals. Anytime you interact with something from one of the Eldritch horrors, the visuals are too hard to portray. Like, there's no way
The
to do
human
it.
brain
Sure.
can't comprehend
But
it.
Hollywood would try.
Yeah.
I'm just very surprised they never even attempted it. There are a couple low budget films.
Bad.
That-
It's so bad.
There's one that's kind of interesting. It's filmed black and white. It's from a couple years ago. It's black and white, but they try to make it like an old, 30s or 40s style, and it's interesting. They also said that Cthulhu is at the end of that one movie that Lindsay hates, and I can't remember now. Underwater.
The Mist?
No, Underwater. Remember the one where they're trapped underwater and
Underwater.
and
I didn't even watch that one.
And Kristen Stewart's in it. Remember, Lindsay? It starts with it. You, me, and Allie watched it, and you were cringing the whole time, every time.
Yeah, because I was claustrophobic as hell.
Yes. Well, they say it's Cthulhu that's at the end of it.
It's not.
I mean, everyone says that. Like, it's almost like official. And, like, I don't know. Shelby, you need to watch that part and hit me up. I need to know. All right.
Just the very end of it.
Just the very end. All right, I'm going to go next. And since we're all breaking the rules, I'm going to say Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Well,
you all said
it's not a
things.
fantasy creature.
Well, if yours are fantasy, then mine is too, I guess. Because it's a joke, guys. I'm joking. The joke is that you said dragon and you said Cthulhu.
Yeah, we were playing into the bit.
No, I didn't understand the humor. I'll be honest. The only one that I want, because the only thing I can think of for the past 3 fucking weeks is a chocobo. So that's
all you can think about for weeks now.
For weeks, all I've thought about are The last time I thought about something as much as I've thought about Final Fantasy lately was after the live action Aladdin came out, and I couldn't stop thinking about the songs. To the point that like I could be doing activities and I would nonstop hear the entire soundtrack over and over again. That's how I
just start humming Speechless.
No, I'd sing Speechless. That's why she left me. Anyway, the chocobo is my first pick. It's a bird. It's adorable. It's a staple of Final Fantasy. It's transportation for the everyday wizard. So that's
for the everyday wizard. You sure about that? Yes, the thing.
Yeah, you're good, man.
Okay. Well, I decided to go with a bunch of mythological creatures, but I looked for a bunch of weird ones. So it's disingenuous to say these are my favorites, but that's why it just says top 5, right? I'm going to start with the Iten Momen, which is a Japanese mythological creature that's described as a flying strip of sentient cloth. It comes from Shannon. You'll like this. It comes from yokai folklore. So basically, it glides through the air at night and wraps itself around people's necks to suffocate them.
Yokai lore is so weird. It's got so many
Spoiler
weird
alert!
monsters.
It's gonna be a new Pokemon in Gen 10.
Yes, the Iten Momen. I'll see if I can find a picture of one because it is very funny to me.
I'm not the only one.
Oh, there it is.
Like a Japanese folklore thing on their list.
I'm
pretty from like it looks like somebody's DeviantArt, but there's one.
Oh, no. Where is it?
In Discord.
It's like someone forgot how to draw the rest of Casper.
It's not great.
There was a movie, I don't remember the name of it, but it was done in like the 60s, the 50s, 60s, and it was all about yokai. And this was in it. And it was such a good movie. The yokai effects were incredible. I saw it on Shudder, and I can't remember the name of it, but man, what an incredible makeup on those for like the 50s. It was great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, String Monster. Good pick. All right, Lindsay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be a boring bitch and go with a Pegasus.
I mean, that has to be number 2 when it comes to like fantasy creatures, right? Behind dragon.
The flying horse.
Be unicorn and then Pegasus.
No. Prefer the Pegasus.
No, I think that's also what I thought you were saying was unicorn.
Well, you just split the difference and make it an alicorn then.
Is that what you call a winged unicorn?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, then you're not really splitting the difference. You're putting the two together.
You're adding the
fine.
subtractions.
Sure.
Folks, if you count it from the moment he said I've got about 50 minutes, that 50 minutes is over.
Also, if I remember right, wasn't the original, like, there's some depictions of the original Greek Pegasus with a horn, right? Or am I crazy?
I just might be
probably.
I don't look.
I didn't dig that deep.
Pegasus is fine. I apologize for creating such controversy by suggesting it was number 2. I will.
No, I was just curious. It's fine. It's a very popular creature, like, and you got My Little Pony that's just really like
there it is.
amping up that popularity.
Yeah. And that's what I thought Lindsay was going with when she said split the difference and put the two together. Was her name Shad Sparkles? Star Sparkle? Twilight Sparkle. Like, she's one of those, right?
Started out with Princess Celestia, but okay.
I would absolutely have gone with Princess Luna.
Seriously, Luna is the best one.
Yeah.
Especially when she's Nightmare Moon.
Oh, yeah.
Wait, hold on.
Sure.
Her name's Luna and also Nightmare Moon?
When she's a villain, yes.
Have you seen Daybreaker?
No, I have not.
That's Celestia's evil form.
I will have to look that up.
Let's go to Jesse for the next one.
All right. My next one, Shannon, don't close your ears. Mothman.
I didn't have him on my list, actually. Mostly because I only have 2 on my list right now.
I was mostly making a joke about, like, you believing in a lot of the cryptids and that kind of thing.
I find it interesting. I wouldn't say I don't believe in anything until I see it. Like,
yeah, that's fair. I don't, Mothman, like, it's
except for Cthulhu.
Well, I said I've seen it. Yes,
Mothman's like it's one of my favorite cryptids. Like, I just really like Mothman.
So picture this. It's Point Pleasant, right? And people are seeing the Mothman. They're seeing the Mothman. He's everywhere. Jesse's pulling out the Mothman currently. There he is. He's right there. A bunch of people see this Mothman. They report it. A couple days later, the bridge collapses at Point Pleasant, kills a whole bunch of people, and they say the creature is a harbinger of doom. Sort of like the Silver Surfer, but cooler. I also love the Mothman. And there's another Mothman!
Shelby has a really cool looking Mothman.
He's covered in stars.
As cute.
So many Mothmen. All right, Shelby.
Hold on. I'm gonna take another one from the Cthulhu mythos, and I'm gonna pick Azathoth, the Great Dreamer. His deal is, we're just his dream. When he wakes up, we're gone. We're not real.
Wait, hold
Shannon,
on.
you're not real.
Well, I figured. Yeah. But does he wake up often, and we just keep getting wiped, or we got a while?
I don't know.
Oh.
We'll find out, I guess.
He didn't exist before, like, an hour ago.
Keep your secrets.
Yeah, it's kind of like the AI thing where they had the whole backstory. Like they as far as they were aware, they had existed for decades, and then suddenly, oh no, we were created 30 seconds ago in an AI program.
I prefer it when it's nope. I don't prefer that. Not gonna say it. Okay.
Changed his mind.
Yeah, it would have sounded bad. There's no way in the state I'm in I could have got that out without somebody like calling someone. So. We're just not going to do it. We're going to go to me, I guess. My second one is actually from Ultima Online. It was the first monster you encounter. It's a Mongbat. Yeah, that's what you think it is. It's like a little man with bat wings walking around.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Mongbat. I see it now.
Yeah. I can't make the noise, but if anyone out there that's listening ever played Ultima Online, when I said Mongbat, you immediately heard the sound it makes because you hear it so often. But it always left a mark on me. I just thought Mongbats were cool. So, all right, back to Hunter.
Okay, my second one comes to us from the Philippines, and it is called the Tikbalang. It's described as a tall, lanky humanoid with the head and hooves of a horse. So you can see why I would choose it for this podcast.
So it's BoJack Horseman?
Well, let me show you. You take a look at it and tell me if that's what you're still thinking.
Hell yeah, brother.
Why is that not an enemy in Warcraft?
Why is it not a character class in Warcraft? Now, to be fair, there are versions of it that are meant to be like a little scarier. I mean, that one's kind of wonky anyway, but this one's a little. Ugh.
That one's legitimately kind of terrifying.
So the Tikbalang misleads travelers by creating illusions or looping trails, which sounds scary, but you can solve this problem by turning your shirt inside out.
Doesn't
Well.
like tags.
I don't know why, but
It doesn't like seams. It doesn't like exposed seams.
it's apparently deeply feared in
split.
rural areas of the Philippines. They don't believe it to be like necessarily malevolent. It's more mischievous, but that it could cause you to lose your way is very
That
scary
thing
to
is
them.
mischievous.
Yeah. He's got mischief up his snout.
Lindsay, go ahead.
The Phoenix, who doesn't love a firebird that wanted to extinguish itself, comes back.
Phoenixes are pretty dope.
Awesome.
It's a good Fallout Boy song.
It really is. It's an excellent Fall Out Boy song.
You will get me mad though if I start talking about Jean Grey going into Marvel Rivals and the version they did with her in Phoenix, because I'll be.
Well, you know how I feel about Jean Grey in general.
Well,
so.
hey, maybe the character's completely different because her fucking powers sure are.
That honestly would have been better served as what was her name? Spider-Man and his amazing friends, like way back in the day.
Oh, Firestar.
Firestar? Yeah. Firestar. That would have been better served as that as opposed to Jean Grey, though. I know they wanted to do the Phoenix Force stuff, but
Well, do it right then.
And plus, they already had Johnny Storm, I guess. I don't know. It's a weird choice to lean into the Phoenix like that, but not really.
What a fucking waste.
Yeah, this is a
All
choice.
right, round 3. Back to the top. Jesse Kimball.
All right. The next one I'm gonna do from Magic the Gathering, the Eldrazi.
Ain't no party like a Eldrazi party.
They're scary.
The Eldrazi are honestly, this is something that Shelby would probably be really into art-wise and everything. They're basically Eldritch Horrors. They travel to planes and destroy. They drain the plane of mana until the plane is destroyed, and then they go to another plane. They've been trapped in one plane for a while now. Occasionally they break out and cause havoc and then get bumped back, but yeah, they're really, really cool. Just giant, super powerful creatures that look ultra creepy.
Neat.
I posted a picture of a small one, and I think Shannon will like it too because they're also very alien.
Yeah, very much so. They look like a cross between Alien and something from Starship Troopers.
Yeah, and then there's 3 big ones. Yeah,
Ceaseless
Ulamog
Hunger,
is
which is
one
a
of them.
great
I like
name.
Ulamog. I forgot about him.
I think the one that Shelby would like the most would be Emrakul.
I'm looking at him. Emrakul, the world anew.
Yep, that one works.
He's very. I'll have to screenshot him because this is a weird site. He's
Here, I
very
got
Cthulhu.
100.
He's got tentacles.
There's
yeah.
your Emrakul.
Oh yeah, this is the card, but
Yes.
yeah, same deal.
Yeah.
Tap it into
that
my
one's a pretty cool one.
veins.
And then there's the most recent one actually had some mergers. I think it was Ulamog and Kozilek got merged. Kozilek is the other big one.
That just sounds
Yeah,
like a Russian.
And Kozilek, I think Shannon might like Kozilek. He looks kind
I
of
like them
cool
all,
too.
buddy.
Kozilek, the broken reality. What a series of names, man. When I quit playing Magic the first time, we hadn't gotten this far. We had the slivers, and that was kind of it. Slithers are tame compared to this shit.
Yeah, slivers were pretty cool.
Kozilek.
Though the Eldrazi are just awesome.
Wow.
They are horrifying creatures. And also, if you read the print on what they do, Hunter sent some of the more mild ones, except for Ulamog, the Ceaseless Hunger is very, very good. But most of them have an ability called Annihilator, which is a busted ability. They're very strong. They're very strong. They're very good, and they're very, very cool.
All right. Shelby, beat that.
Well, I can't, I guess, eat it, but I'm gonna pick it's a Japanese creature. The Bake Kujira. It is a fucking ghost whale.
Ah,
Here, I got a picture there for you.
wow.
It's
Oh, shit, yeah, I'm
it's
looking at it.
basically
That's cool.
rolls around and it's just accompanied by a whole bunch of like unknown fish and weird fucking birds, and it takes revenge against people who hunt whales and eat whale meat.
Wow.
I'm sorry, what do they eat?
Whale meat.
Whale meat.
Thank you.
Whale
Thank you
meat.
for this. There's a siren in Final Fantasy XIV in a particular raid we run regularly, and when it goes off, it sounds like it's saying whale meat.
Whale meat.
Whale meat.
Whale meat.
As soon as you said it, we haven't talked about that in like a year, and I was like, oh shit, whale meat.
What are the odds that would come back around?
Well, especially because the picture I'm looking at, this whale ain't got any meat, it's just
Don't mean
bones. So
that's whale bones.
where did it go? They got all the whale meat.
Whale bones.
He also takes revenge by causing I think it's cursing them with plagues and fire.
Hell yeah.
He's pretty badass. I like him.
Mine isn't badass, but since you guys are doing real, like, kind of mythological fantasy creatures, or, you know, whatever, the one that always stuck out in my head, and it's technically a woman, so I hope it counts. I'm not trying to be offensive. And I also don't know how to pronounce it correctly. It says Krasu or Krasu. It's Krasue, but you've definitely seen it before, and don't look it up if you're of the faint of heart, because what it is it manifests as a woman's head with her internal organs still attached to her neck.
Oh.
And it's just her organs.
Oh.
It's just her
And
head.
It's just the upper portion of her body too. Like there is nothing.
Yeah. So it's just a woman's head floating around with her organs trailing down. It's horrific. Then this Tales Creepshow did an episode where this was the creature in it, and I had known about this for a long time because I watched a lot of horror movies, especially foreign horror back in the day in my college years. This thing's just terrifying. It's still horrific.
Is the one from Creepshow the one where it has arms though?
Was it the episode where they were trying to keep the Mexicans out of the border or out of America?
I don't remember. It was terrifying wherever I saw the one that I saw. It had arms, and that's the only.
Look, there's a lot of creatures. If I were walking down the street and I saw even the horseman that Hunter sent earlier, or a werewolf or something like that, I would stop and go, "Wow, look at that!" If I turn a corner and there's a woman's head, if Shelby's head's just got her internal organs hanging down and she's floating toward me, I'm not staying.
You're gonna cry.
Like his arms do this though, like.
Yeah, not gonna do that. We're not gonna do that. All right, Hunter, please. Ugh.
Oh, I got you. Because mine has been stupid from the moment this started.
Oh.
And Shannon, get ready because I'm afraid this one's gonna break you.
Please
so,
don't do this.
My next one is the Encantado, which is from like the Brazilian Amazon era. Now it sounds fairly innocuous. It's a shape-shifting river dolphin that turns into a human so it can come ashore to seduce people, and then it drags them back into the river. Okay, so it's kind of like Siren-esque. The standard, some people are trying to make it too much of a thing. This is what it would look like probably if it was in Warcraft. Like it's way too serious, like a dolphin person kind of thing. It's very Zora from and that's whatever.
Yeah.
I prefer this version personally. And then, if you think that's good, Shannon, I just found tonight's show picture for you because this is my favorite thing I've seen in a long time. That's the Encantado.
I like his little hat.
I like that he is maybe smoking a cigarette.
Yeah, looks like he's
I
gonna
think
join
it's
as well.
tusk. I thought it was a tusk.
Well, he's a dolphin. I don't know why he'd have a tusk.
I think it's just him smiling.
Maybe.
It could be him smiling.
That's just
I kind of like the idea that it's a big joint. And he's got that little blowhole moving his top hat off. He's smoking and taking this person back to the water forever.
And he's
The
worried about the
Encantado.
storm. He's looking up like,
Well,
wow,
yeah, he doesn't want to get rained on.
gotta get home.
He didn't plan on this being a nighttime situation.
All right, Lindsay. Oh,
I'm gonna go with the cosmic turtle, the giant turtle that carries the world on its back.
Oh, it has a name. What is it?
It's got lots of names. It's got a name
Yeah.
in Indian, Chinese, and
depending
Native
on what
American. And I
Everyone
can't
has
pronounce any of them.
Everyone has a name in those languages.
All words are made up.
All words are made of letters.
Too.
Well, North American, like the Native American folklore is they all just call it the world turtle or the great turtle or whatever. I know I've heard a specific name though. Maybe you know what? I know what I'm thinking of. It's never mind. It's Stephen King. Stephen King gave it a name, Maturin, because it's Pennywise's like arch enemy. That's
Yeah.
Well, wish he would have shown up to help.
yeah.
In
nice.
the movie version, they had like a Lego turtle that showed up in a couple places. It was supposed to be kind of like alluding
A representative.
to.
Yeah.
Where are we at? I've already lost track.
Jesse, round 4.
Jesse? Yeah, that's what I thought. Jesse,
Hey, all right.
Yeah.
Just real quick as an aside, I found a picture of the other Eldrazi that I wanted you guys to see.
Oh god, that's too many limbs.
Hello, Jacob.
Whoa.
This is Ulalek. He is a fusion of Ulamog and Kozilek. And there's
too many limbs.
There's some interesting lore around it, but yeah, he is one creepy looking motherfucker. And the commander of one of my decks. Anyway. My next pick are gonna be the Timber Cats, because I have to talk about these guys every time we do something like this. The Timber Cats are from Kipo, a show that everybody needs to watch because it's phenomenal. It's the Yumyan Hammerpaw I've told you guys about before. He's just a giant cat. They're like lumberjack cats. They have axes. They have great music. It's a fun time for everybody involved. Everybody should watch this show. That's it. We can move on.
Okay. Sorry.
I've talked about these guys several times before.
Shelby.
My pick is basically the same thing as Hunter's, except for it is seals instead of dolphins. They're called selkies.
Oh yeah. They are.
I wanted to
Called
find a
selkies.
good picture, but none of them are really appropriate.
That seems like it would be true.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
I found one. It's kind of funny. I'm just gonna... Hang on, here you go.
I would like to see this. Oh, hold on.
Okay.
Like, everything I found when I searched for selfies is something like that.
Why is it furry
That's
fan
the
art?
worst Final Fantasy character I've ever seen.
Oh my.
Like, it gets worse from there.
Oh,
my.
do show, please.
No, I don't wanna.
No, you have to do one at least, please.
You can't just say that.
Can't
and then not
tease it,
follow
yeah.
it.
Here you go, Shelby. I got something to distract from.
We don't want to.
Oh my god, look at that.
What is that?
It's Slowpoke trying to be a Rapidash.
Oh my, I'm speeding up.
Yeah, we were gonna get another one. Lindsay ruined it.
Not getting another one.
I'll go next. One of my favorites. This is not what I really envisioned when I said fantasy creatures, but it's all over the place.
You did say anything goes.
I did. I said it would be vague. So let's just have fun once here. The Kelly Hopkinsville Goblins. This is one of my.
Sableye.
Yeah. So the Pokemon Sableye is designed
Oh.
after these things.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was in Kentucky, and this family said that there was a flying saucer and that these little aliens had come off the saucer and were attacking them. And so they spent the entire night holed up in their house shooting at these things as they would appear. So they went and in the morning they went and told the sheriff, who went and they abandoned the house. And when the sheriff went there were just bullet holes throughout the entire thing. And the creature that they described is just these little like almost elf looking style creatures. They're just so cool looking. And Pokemon did create Sableye based on their look, which I thought was neat. It's just a fun little story.
Yeah.
It was officially classified as a hoax in Project Blue Book, by the way. But what do they know? That's government bullshit. Yeah.
Yeah, they're lying to you.
Hunter.
I'm gonna go with the ALP. ALP. It's exactly what it sounds like. Well, no, because that actually sounds fun, right? Like ALP seems like it's gonna be a fun little,
like Alf,
like the noise a dog makes or something, or like ALF. So the ALP is just described as a malevolent spirit with a penchant for nightmares.
Of course.
But then you get deeper into it and find out that it is a goblin or elf that sits on your chest while you sleep and causes sleep paralysis.
Oh, I know that guy. He's that little guy that sits, the famous picture of him.
Yeah, there's a couple of them, yeah. So this one is, I was going to put a couple here so you can see. This one's kind of disturbing. I don't care for that at all.
That's what happened to me.
Much less do I care for this one, which looks like it's from a film, perhaps.
Too horny. Too horny.
But, Shannon, you're probably describing this one who looks like he's going to ask when you wake up. Oh, the file's too big. Never mind. I was going to say, it looks like he's going to ask if he can borrow some money. I'm going to have to screenshot this because apparently it's too big of a picture. I think this might be the one you're talking about, though. He's definitely going to tell you a secret.
Painting?
When you get
Nightmare.
Yes. Yeah.
I don't trust that horse back there.
That's who I'm talking about. The imp is fine. It's the horse who I don't really trust.
I don't trust that horse. No.
He's having a time.
Yeah.
I just want to know what that little goblin's chewing on.
Dreams.
Slim Jims.
Slim Jims.
It is called Nightmare, and it's by Johann Heinrich Fuseli.
That I couldn't remember.
Well, you probably would have written a better film than Legend. That's for sure.
I'm assuming that it is from Baroque period, from colors and themes.
You gonna be Baroque after this big beautiful bill went out.
You'll have to help me with years, but it was 1802 is when it was painted.
Oh, well then no, that would be Romanticism.
I was gonna say I'm not good with visual art years.
I remember some of my art history.
The Nightmare. I wonder if it's an oil painting. I was looking to see if it said anything in their deal.
Yeah, if it's 1800s, it's got to be Romanticism.
Yeah. Well, there you go. I was looking to see if anybody said anything about it on the page here, but surely that's in here somewhere. Anyway,
let's go to Lindsay.
I'm gonna go with the Ogopogo, and it can be unorthodox if you wish.
It's an unorthodox Ogopogo. That's true.
Who doesn't like a sea monster? That's basically a dinosaur.
Sea captains.
That sounds cool.
Ones that are just trying to do their goddamn job.
Well, they should stay out of the locks. And the rivers. And the lakes.
Last round, Jesse, hit us up.
All right, my last one is going to be a character from a book series I've been reading through recently. It's the Alex Verus series for anyone curious. It's a character named Arachne, loosely based on the old Greek myth. Basically, this is a tarantula the size of a sedan that is an ally of the titular character. She's a maker, a weaver. She can make like all sorts of interesting things between magical focus items and armor, clothes, etc. Is a good resource for the main character. It's a good book. She's a cool character because she's just like despite being a tarantula the size of a sedan, she's just very, very nice and a sweet character and frequently described that way, though obviously a lot of people are afraid of her for the obvious reasons. But she's actually a very kind creature. It's very fun. I like her a lot.
Most spiders are good, for the record. Pretty much all of them.
Would you talk to a tarantula that's 5 feet tall?
Yes. Mostly because I want to be the spider for once. And they gotta look at me up close and go, what is that? Is it rearing up at me? Which they do. Shelby, go ahead.
My last pick is a bugbear. It's a hobgoblin. It's like the boogeyman.
I like those guys.
I just thought it was cute.
The D&D has a very you say bugbear, it's a hobgoblin, and anyone who has played D&D a long time immediately goes, no, it's not.
No, I know. I'm going off of folklore.
I know, and you should. But it is very funny that they make a big distinction between the two.
Yeah, my favorite bugbear for D&D purposes. Anybody that's listened to the Adventure Zone, like their first story arc, they encounter a bugbear that they trick into being very friendly, and they start calling him a hug bear.
Jesus Christ. Well,
it's very fun.
My last pick, would Godzilla count? I got another one if he doesn't.
Yeah, Godzilla.
Yeah, he's a creature. He's fantasy. That's it.
Yeah, well,
that's all it takes.
Is it fantasy or sci-fi?
Well, I mean, he's not real. At this point, that's all we're talking about.
Right.
They're just fictional.
Right, yeah, he's not real.
Yeah, he's not real.
No. But I wish he was.
You wouldn't want him to be real. He would kill you.
No, not me. He only goes after Japanese people. Or
Not 97.
Or New York. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
What do you think happens when he gets done with New York?
Two places. If you guys were going to allow that, my runner-up was going to be a Minotaur. Minotaur. Wow.
That's a good one.
I said that very weird.
Good
Big bull man. I always thought that was very cool. And they always had that big ass axe. Very cool.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Hunter.
I'm gonna end on a fun one. They're called the Blemmies, Blemmies. So they're both kind of Greco-Roman and like a medieval legend, like they've been in and out throughout time. They're described as humanoids without actual heads, but their faces are on their chests. They're on a lot of like ancient maps and travelogues as like a tribe, like here and there in these undiscovered areas. Once again, this one's all about the picture. There's a handful. Honestly, I know what I said earlier, but you might have some contention.
Oh God,
for the picture from tonight's show. there's one.
I forgot what
oh my!
They're called
the Blemmies. This is my favorite one.
I enjoy the pose. That one is being very theatrical.
It's sassy.
And then, this one might be my favorite. I don't know. It's hard to pick between these three. This is pretty good.
He's got a little hat and hair on his little face chest.
On his little drunk face. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Blemmies are fucked up, man.
Are they also giants?
Think of this guy.
No.
It's Crumb.
They're about to be the same size.
Tiny.
Yeah. I think that's just a sapling. I don't think they're meant to be like exceptionally large. They're human size. Their faces are very
big. Hey, eyeball.
They're on their chest.
They kind of made me think of that guy.
It's Chrome, yeah.
Oh, now this seems like an interpretation. One more here. I don't like this at all. This is what happens when you make that a D&D monster.
Oh. Yummy.
That's interesting.
I don't
like the eyeballs on the shoulders.
No, that's exactly what I was about to say.
Although it does puts the mouth in a proper place, because if the mouth is where it is on those other guys, it has nowhere to get to the stomach. This one's up there.
Place on the torso, Hunter.
Sure.
Please stop saying mouth in the proper place. I mean, he said to stop.
Yeah, belly button between the nipples. No, we need to stop.
When we say that particular phrase, Shannon, does it make your face do something like this?
No, please.
I love it.
He's also looking in a couple of directions too.
God damn it! Oh, Lindsay,
he's keeping his eye on you, and he's keeping his eye on somebody else
Lindsay,
too.
Please.
All right, I'm gonna wrap us up with something that everybody can be happy about, and that's Murlocs.
Hey,
everybody loves a Murloc.
I got a button for him.
No,
nope.
You need the sound. That's not it.
No.
Oh, I do have that. I do have that one actually.
That's true.
Murloc. Murlocs are the best creatures in World of Warcraft. But they don't top out for me over like chocobos or moogles simply because they're so wet. If they weren't so wet, I wouldn't top
slimy.
out.
Well, it also like Murlocs,
They're simply too wet.
You have some not great memories of Murlocs because they seem non-threatening, and then like suddenly you're fighting like a constant stream of them.
Yeah,
You disturbed a nest. That's your fault.
they're swarms.
They respawn so fast.
Like the mighty bee.
What?
Not the bee!
This is my favorite. Is when he just can't even talk. I wish people could see this part of the show.
He is
where it's
so
just
red.
Head and hands shaking quietly.
And his forehead is just red.
It just gets redder and redder by the minute.
Okay, well.
Yeah.
Hi.
Yes.
I think that's pretty much it, right?
Yeah, this has devolved.
I need to go before Hunter makes me pass out on the show. What kind of ratings boost would you get then? And would it be worth it? Honestly.
Oh.
All right. Hunter, tell them about this week's shows, please.
This is why, because you can. We had an all-new PZ85 Plays experience. Lindsay's Hunger Games game is up and running. The 85th Hunger Games with me, Shannon, and our newcomer Alex and Tanner.
Yes.
You go back and listen to episode 0 for Monday, which is where we like flesh out our characters because we came in with stuff prepared, but we did the rest of the table
If
and then
you
kind
want
of got
to
things
skip
started.
the character creation, hit about 39
They
minutes
don't.
in.
They don't. We're not skipping anything. You listen to the whole fucking thing, or you don't listen at all.
Thank you. Finally.
We'll take it away. And that continues next Monday. Last night? No, 2 nights ago. We had, for you people, it was last night. Anyway, we had an all new Extras and Epilogues. It's the first episode of Cruise Control July, Tom Cruise. All month long, we watched Legend. It was bad. Go listen to how bad it was.
The rest of the month is called It Can Only Go Up From Here.
We also had some recording issues, so that's it's just it's a hard to listen to episode, and it's a bad movie. So
it was a hard movie to sit through. Yeah.
Yes, that continues next week with a much better movie and A Few Good Men. The fan vote results are in. We're watching Collateral because fuck you. And then we'll be back.
He saw the light.
And we'll be back to do that again next week. And we'll be back to do this again next week.
And we'll be back on Saturday for another hot Chocobo night. 8 o'clock. Hopefully everybody here can join us, and we'll be jumping on Repo, which is one of my favorite things of the week. So I hope Shelby and Jesse will be there with us too, because it brings much joy to my heart. We'll be live streaming that. So every Saturday night around 8 o'clock, hot Chocobo nights, and we'll do it sometimes on a special day. It just depends. But that's pretty much it. Everything Hunter said. Until next week, thank you guys for listening. And Shelby, wow, that was a weird damn noise. Take us out.
No.
She's like a cryptid. She got away. Or as Zach would say, a cryptic.
Disappeared into her star blanket.
Hey, Jill.